Hi guys, today we're looking at significant figures. Our learning intention for today is by the end of this lesson, you will be able to round a number to a given significant figure. Let's have a look at what we mean by significant figures. 6,341 people attend a concert. Which digit is the first significant figure? 6 is the first significant figure. This 6 is in the thousands category. So the 6 here is 1,000. So 6 represents 6 times 1,000. The 6 represents 6,000. This 6 tells you more about the approximate size of the crowd than any other digit in the attendance figure. Rounding 6,341 to one significant figure equals 6,000. i.e., there are approximately 6,000 people at the concert. A significant figure is a way to round a value to its closest approximate size. Let's look at an example. We're given the value 3.67765, and we want to round it to one significant figure. This means we keep the first value and all of the other digits will go to 0. When rounding to one significant figure, we must look at the second digit. If the second digit is greater than 5, we must round it up to, in this case, 4. This means that 3.677 is approximately 4.0. Let's look at the next question. Round 61,343 to two significant figures. This means we keep the first two digits and all of the rest of the digits will go to 0. We must look at the third digit to see whether we round up or round down. The third digit is less than 5, and therefore we round down. 61,343 is approximately 61,000, correct to two significant figures. Let's look at another one. Round 0.02356 to three significant figures. This means we keep the first three figures. Please note that you ignore all of the zeros at the start and at the end. Let's find out where our three significant figures are. In this case, our three significant figures are 2, 3, and 5. We need to see whether we must round up or round down the last digit. To do this, we look at the fourth digit. This value is greater than 5, and therefore we round up the third digit. This gives us 0.0236. When dealing with significant figures, you need to keep any zeros that tell you the value of a number. Let's try a few more. The first, second, third, and fourth significant figures are the digits that are immediately following the first significant figure, including the 0. For example, this 4 is the first significant figure. The 8 is the second significant figure. The 9 is the third significant figure. And the same on the bottom. The 7 is the first significant figure. The 5 is the second significant figure. The 0 is the third significant figure. Let's try a few more. Complete the following table. We must first round our value to 3 significant figures. This means we keep the 3 largest numbers. So in my case, I will keep the 6, 0.3 and 5. I must look at the 4th digit to see whether I round up or round down. My 4th digit is less than 5, and therefore I round down. I'm left with 6.35. In part 2, I'm asked to round to 2 significant figures. This means I keep the 2 largest values. So I keep the 6.3. I must look at my 3rd digit to see whether I round up or round down. In this case, my 3rd digit is equal to 5, and therefore I must round up the digit before it. This gives us 6.4. Let's round it to 1 significant figure. This means I keep the first largest value. In this case, I keep the 6. I look at the 2nd digit to see whether I round up or round down. In this case, my next value is less than 5, and therefore I round down. This number is approximately 6. Let's look at the next one. 34.026. Let's round to 3 significant figures. This means I keep the 3 largest values. I look at my 4th value to see whether I round up or round down. My 4th value is less than 5, and therefore I round down. My answer is 34.0. Let's try another one. Round our value to 2 significant figures. This means I keep the 2 largest values. And I look at the next value, that's the 3rd value, to see whether I round up or round down. My 3rd value is 0, and therefore I round down. 34.026 is approximately 34 to 2 significant figures. Let's round this to 1 significant figure. This means I keep my first largest value. And I look at my 2nd value to see whether I round up or round down. My 2nd value is less than 5, and therefore I round down. Remember, all of the other numbers go to 0. This leaves us with 34. This leaves us with 30. Let's try another one. we have 0.005708. We want to round this to 3 significant figures. This means we keep the 3 largest values. We don't include the zeros, so our 3 largest values are 7, 5, and 0. I need to look at my 4th digit to see whether I round up or round down. My digit after my 3rd significant figure is 8. This is greater than 5. Therefore, I round up. This gives me 0.00571. Let's round this to 2 significant figures. This means we keep the 2 largest values. Remember, you do not include the zeros at the very start or at the end. Rounding to 2 significant figures gives me 0.0057. The digit after the 2nd significant figure is less than 5, and therefore I round down. I'm left with 0.0057. Rounding to 1 significant figure. We keep the 1st value. We look at the value after the 1st significant figure to see whether we round up or round down. This value is greater than 5, and therefore we round up. This gives us 0.006. Let's have a look and see which zeros are important. Are there any zeros here that you can get rid of? In part A, we have 52,000. All of our zeros are important to tell us the number that we have. In part B, we have 5.200. In this case, the zeros after the 2 do not tell you anything about your number, and therefore you can get rid of them. In part C, we have 0.050. The zeros in front of the 5 are important as they tell you where your digit stands. The digit, the 0 after the 5, does not tell us any information, and therefore you can get rid of it. What about in D? Well, we have 02.50. In this case, the 0 in our tens does not tell us anything about our number, and neither does the 0 in our hundredths position. Therefore, we can get rid of both of these. When dealing with significant figures, you need to keep any zeros that tell you the value of a number. Let's try one more. Round to 1 significant figure. Keep the largest value. Is the next digit 5 or more? Yes, so we round up. To 1 significant figure, we have 0.08. Let's look at our next value, 0.0012. We keep our first largest number and everything before that. Is the digit after the first significant figure 5 or more? No, and therefore we round down. Our answer to 1 significant figure is 0.001. Rounding to 1 significant figure. We keep the 1. Is the digit after our first significant figure 5 or more? No. Therefore, we round down. Let's look at 241. Rounding to one significant figure, we keep our largest value. Is the number after our first significant figure 5 or more? No. Then we round everything else to 0. What about 587? Keep your first value. Is the number after the first significant figure 5 or more? Yes. So we round up and all other digits go to 0. Let's try one more. 75. Keep your first largest value and all other numbers will go to 0. Look at your second value to see whether it is 5 or more. It is, therefore we round up. 75 is closest to 80. Please pause and take down these examples.